I want some pie!
And as all good pie making starts, this one begins with beer. Upslope Brewing Company IPA, which their website describes as bold, deep, and bitter. So this beer and I have at least two things in common, and I appreciate that. Anyway, today I'm making a coconut cream pie, which I've never done before, so I'm taking this entire recipe from sallysbakingaddiction.com. Chop up some butter and stick it in the freezer so it gets cold and bitter just like this delicious beer, and we'll also give a flakier crust. Then I mix some flour, sugar, and salt and add the rock hard butter. I try this thing with my hand to do some sort of editing magic, but during editing I realize that's not going to work, but I leave it in anyway to show you I'm flour fingers. Now you're supposed to cut in the butter until the whole thing looks like peas, which is what every cut in butter direction says. To this day I've never achieved anything that looks like peas, but I'm still around to tell the tale. Then you add a quarter cup of ice water, a tablespoon at a time, just until the crust all comes together. Split it in two and put half in the fridge for tomorrow's pie, and then the other half in the freezer for a rainy day. Or a sunny day if you want, or a haily day, or a snowy day. Any day you feel like making pie.
Day 2, we're gonna take the pie crust out of the fridge, roll it out into the pie plate, chill it, bake it, cool it, fill it, and eat it.
So this crust is Sally's all butter pie crust recipe because I prefer an all butter crust, because it tastes better, because think about it. Would you rather eat a handful of shortening or a handful of butter? And if you said neither to that question, then my friend, you don't know how much of that is in pie crust because it is a lot.
It ain't pretty, but it ain't ugly, but it ain't pretty.
Now I'm going to blind bake this crust since the filling will not go in the oven. So I use these pie weights that I bought 3 years ago thinking it was a great idea, and I've used them literally twice, and both times were in the past 4 weeks. You can just use some dry beans instead. And then can you cook and eat the beans? I have absolutely no idea, but you should try it and tell me what happened. Next I shake up a can of coconut milk and what the Okay, so this guy is separated and shaking didn't do a thing. I didn't know that could happen. Okay. All right, little half and half, a lot of sugar, a pinch of salt, and then onto the stove. I cracked 4 eggs one-handed and separated the yolk perfectly and forgot to hit record. So you're just gonna have to use your imagination about what that looked like. Those 4 yolks get mixed together with some cornstarch, and then once your mixture on the burner is boiling, you temper that into the yolk cornstarch mixture. Then you go back onto the burner with everything and whisk it up until it becomes a thick and juicy pie filling. Add butter, add vanilla, add shredded coconut. That is going to go into your pie crust, so your crust will no longer be a lonely loser. It's now got a purpose. This crust is going to take another trip to the fridge while we work on our topping. Toast up some coconut and whip some cream. Sally says whip to soft peaks. What do I know? Sally says soft peaks. Sally says soft peaks. Sally says soft peaks. Sally says soft peaks.
What?
Okay, we're finally almost done. You spread or pipe on your whipped cream.
Now you could take your time and pipe the whipped cream on in a pretty little design. Or you could live your life.
So yeah, whichever you want. I choose the path of least resistance, then I clean my spatula.
What?
And sprinkle on the toasted coconut. I'm gonna open a beer because nothing goes with pie like beer, and it's time to rock. Now admittedly, this whipped cream looks a little too soft for my taste, but oh well, it's too late now. Sally said soft peaks, and that's a nice enough little cross section. But no matter, time to taste, and it's amazing. Sally knows. Does it go well with beer? Of course it does. Everything goes well with beer.